Hi everyone, as part of my mission to finish all the works in progress that we are in the middle of, having finished the Wonder Room, and yes, I decided that we would finish this page. This is just a couple of days. Today and tomorrow we'll just do these two pictures and get this page finished. The idea is that I'm going to have a look at any things that I've started with you that I wanted to finish with you that I'm going to get finished. Other whips I'm also going to finish and post completed pictures of them so I can get some pages done really. And I'm going to go through them in the next couple of weeks or so. Actually, it's only the 10th of Feb. So I'm having a few weeks off making videos, and so I've made some videos in advance. This one, these two will be the last two that go out in advance, I think. And while I'm sort of off on my break, I will have a look through all my books, find every incomplete page, and either complete it and post it on my Facebook page, or put it aside to complete with you in a video. But let's get colouring and get this page completed. Well, another little part of it completed. I'm aware that we have a page in World of Flowers where it's a double page and we completed one side, so the other side of that will go be put aside to do with you at some point. Now I've chosen this top one. I'm not sure why. Not really any proper reason. And we have a sort of night sky with a tent. And I think this is a blanket. That's how I'm going to colour it anyway, with lots of greenery. Now I've picked my Staedtler Ergosofts. It's quite a detailed picture, so it's quite nice to have a set of pencils that can go quite sharp and hold their point. So this is number 33, which is the really dark purpley blue, and I'm just going to use this for the sky. Now obviously this sky is going to be quite dark because it's night time, but I don't want it to look dark and foreboding, so I'm not going to put down a really heavy layer. I'm just going to put down, well, just one layer of this pencil, so it's not majorly dark, and it's sort of almost like it's twilight, I suppose. Now if you struggle to not colour over these dots and stars, don't worry. You can colour over them and then use a pen, a gel pen or a paint pen, to then colour them so they stand out. I haven't decided what colour I'm going to do them yet. It's quite odd having these circles and the star-shaped stars. You wouldn't see that in the sky. Stars are normally just circles, aren't they? But I think they're quite cute. So, and I think what I might do is do them different colours, just for fun. So I was thinking silver and gold. Yeah, I've got a silver and a gold paint pen, so I think I might do that. We've got to leave that till the end. Actually, I'm going to grab them out to remind me that I've got to do that, but I'm going to do it at the end, or else I might, I've just got to hold my page still, or else I might end up just smudging them everywhere, which is my usual party trick. It's not going to look good. And the problem is that once you get it on your hands, then you can smudge it all over the place, so we'll wait. Do that a little later. It's interesting how these go over the edge a little bit. I noticed Johanna Basford likes doing that too, where she lets some of her, if she does a sort of border, she lets some of the items go outside of that border. I don't know whether it's something you're sort of taught in art school or something that just seems to feel right. I'm not sure. I've got some grass here, so I'm going to go a little lighter under here, and we'll put some greens in there as well to make this look like grass is growing. It's taking me a while, I'm sorry. But I'm sort of thinking about these trees and colours for those as I go, which I don't know if you do that when you're colouring or if you just concentrate on one aspect at a time. It's supposed to be mindful, and some people interpret that as concentrating completely on what you're doing. Unfortunately, my mind can't do that. It just wanders. So if I can be thinking about what I'm going to be colouring next and what colour, then that helps me my mind not to wander onto things that I'm trying to avoid thinking about, you know, like the news or any other things that are going on. Like yesterday, actually I wasn't colouring, I was doing some work, and I'm looking for my tree colours. Now I noticed that some of these have leaves that are, so I'm going to do those leaves first in the number 52. Okay, I'm not going to do them in any special way, I'm just going to fill them in because they're small. So yes, my son messaged me yesterday. He was on a geology field trip and says, "Oh mum, the bus is driven into a ditch." He said he was sitting right on the rear axle, which was the bit that ended up in the ditch. He was fine. A bit of a shock, I think, at the time, but, you know, he just brushed it off. And but they had to then obviously all get out of the bus. I don't know how they managed that. It must have been quite fun, actually. And then stand outside in the cold and wait. Now, the teacher phoned up to get another bus, and that was fine. I mean, it was a bus driver's fault. It wasn't anything to do with the college. It was just, you know, it was just one of those things. Yeah, it wasn't a biggie. But they had to stand in the cold to wait for a replacement bus to come. But luckily, a tractor came by and managed to pull them out. Okay, those trees with leaves on, I'm going to do them all the same colour in the background, and I'm going to use this pretty number 50. I think it just goes really well with that one. I'm just going to colour it quite, what I aim to do is to make it a little bit darker at the bottom or more intense. I'm going to colour over the leaves, it makes it a lot easier, and the colours work well together, so it's fine. It means that if you've missed any bits, you've coloured over them, and it makes it easier and quicker. Why not? So anyway, they had to wait in the cold for the bus. They got the bus out in the end so they could go home on that one because it was safe to drive. But he was a bit cold, but he got warm. And then he missed his bus home from college. But still, I phoned my husband. I had to be a little bit careful with the truth, shall we say. I just told him the bus broke down, or else I know he would have panicked, which effectively it sort of had. And I asked him if he could just leave work a little bit early and collect the boy from college, and that was fine. And I then told my other son about it, said your bro won't be on the bus, sort of thing. And he said, "Oh, I know someone in our lesson has who's got a friend on the trip. They've sent them a photo of what's going on," and everyone was laughing and giggling, thinking it was hilarious. I'm going to use number 5 for the other trees, just because this one's in the 24 set. So if you're not fortunate enough to have the 36 set, you can still use this one. And I'm going to start here and go dark here, because I want, the tree is obviously in little layers, and this bit would be in shadow because the layer is over the top. So I'm going to gently try and fade it by reducing the layers and pressure, so that looks like there's some shadow under here. And we'll do the same with this one, so going with more layers here and less as we come down. But yes, it was quite an adventure for him, but he was fine. He was cold though. He only wore a thin coat because he said, "Well, we're walking and I'll get hot." I said, "Okay." He said he was actually absolutely fine until they had to then stand outside in the evening as it was getting dark, and he got a bit cold. But he said one of his friends opened up a Wi-Fi hotspot for him with their phone so he could message me and tell me what was going on. And another one of his friends gave him half a packet of crisps to eat. So he was a lucky boy. I always offer to give him extra lunch when he's got a field trip, but he's like, "No, Mum." He doesn't like eat loads, you know. But I think if it's crisp. I wouldn't have given him crisps, I would have given him healthy stuff. He doesn't want that, does he? Now I've done that one just quite a little bit darker here and here, but this one we've got a few more bits where it looks like we want some darker areas. I'm sort of thinking here and here and under here might be a bit darker. I'm now starting to think about what colour to do the tent as well, thinking we've got lots and lots of green, we've got a lot more green to go, so I'm not going to do it green. I quite like that sort of khaki army green colour for tents, but we're not going to do it that colour. I just realised I've got another tree down the bottom with leaves on which we haven't finished, but it's okay, we'll get there in a minute. Okay, and I'm going to do this grass before I forget, and I'm just going to use this colour, so I'm just going to do this sort of action, trying to avoid the tree trunks, which we'll do in a minute in a little bit of brown, just simple. There we go, I think that's okay. Just try and... I'm going to do a different colour grass on the... I know it might be a bit weird, but these probably might not be grasses, they might be little bushes and things. So I'm going to grab a brown to do the tree trunk, 76, while I remember. I realise we've still got 2 trees to go. I'm going to try to make them a little darker on the outsides to give them a more cylindrical feel. It's quite tricky in this little space, but I've done my best. I'm going to grab my number 5 again. Whoop, it's alive. Number 5. And just go over. Now I've noticed that was wrong. There we go. And this tree. Let's redo it. It's quite fun, isn't it? Let's make it darker on the edge. Lighter towards the middle to make it look a little bit cylindrical. So fade that in. Like that. And this dark colour that we've used for these might make sense to use for these as well. We seem to have a bit of a path, I've just noticed there. It's interesting. We've got one here as well. Whoops. Not sure what that is. I think just do that. Like that. We've got one here. Like that. Now, remember we did these trees in number 50. So we'll do this again. Now, someone has asked me to convert my colours to polychromos, so when I use Ergosoft, for example, to say what the equivalents are, it's quite tricky to do that for every single video, and not all of you use polychromos either, so I couldn't just keep doing it for every pencil set. It's a little bit tricky, but really you just need a light green, a mid green and a dark green, and you can just go for it. Now for the grass, I'm going to use this green because it's a bit different. Oops. This is number 57. This would be like your earth green yellowish if you are using your polychromos. This would be the light green, this would be a permanent green, and the darkest green will probably be a phthalo green. I guess I can do it, but typing it out in my video description would take a long old time. So I'll just do my best while I make this video. Now we're going to put some grass down here. I know we've got some more tree trunks to do there. So many little details, I keep missing bits. Now, are these flowers or berries? What do you reckon? I'm thinking berries because it's night time. Flowers might close up a little bit. Some do, don't they? They close up when the sun goes down. And this tree, I'm going to do that little bit as grass actually, as if that's the sort of trunk. It's a little bit strange. That's how I'm interpreting it. You might want to colour that bit brown as if it was the trunk. It's up to you. Now this bit I'm just going to colour, whoops, right over the top, not over the berry, that's a mistake. I shall do that in a minute again. I shall erase it. This is my Tombow Mono eraser. You can cope with small spaces quite well. There we go. Right, we've got quite a lot of it done now, so we can sort of see and look at the details. I'm just going to finish the tree trunks, which I'm going to use the same 76 that I used before. If you were using your polys, you would use a Van Dyke brown or a walnut brown, something like that would work really well. Right, the path, I'm going to use the same brown as I used for the trees. I'm thinking it might be a bit muddy. Oh, I just noticed that that's wrong. So I'm thinking a mud path would work. I'm being lazy and just using the same brown, but I think it's okay. Now I've just noticed that we have this is aligned to a tent peg, so that is actually the end of the tent, so this should be grass. You may have spotted that anyway. I'm just checking what's going on here, but no, that's all tent. Now these berries I'd quite like to do in a sort of brownie colour, number 73. And I'm going to try to do a circle around the outside in a few layers and then less towards the centre to make them look more rounded and like they've got a bit of shine. Quite tricky on such a small space. I'm trying my best. Need a really sharp pencil, which mine is. I use my Derwent mini point sharpener on these. It just works really well. They just work. Some sharpeners seem to work well. The Staedtler Noris is fine though. I'm sure Staedtler recommend their Staedtler Noris sharpener for these pencils, but I just like a nice sharp point. Now I'm going to do the tent pegs in this too. I don't know. I'm assuming they might be wooden. I don't know anything about camping. I've never been. I've never felt inclined. Now I want to add a splash of colour into the middle of this picture. I think it's looking a bit bluey greeny, isn't it? And so I think the tent and the rug are the good places to add colour. So I'm going to make the rug red, and let's start with red and then think. Now I'm using the 29. Now this is from the 36 set. If you've got a 24, you won't have this red. This is a lovely mid red. However, I have found that if you mix together the number 2 and the number 23, which you get in the 24 set, it can make a nice red. So just, if you're doing that, layer them up lightly like that. So just a little bit and then the other one, and then again the first one and then the other one, and you'll get a colour quite similar to this, because they're sort of an orangey red and a pinky red. But of course you could just use one of them if you prefer. Just pick which one you want. I don't know if this is some sort of net to catch the rabbit in. That sounds nasty. Can't be that. No, it must be a rug. A rabbit catching net. It would be far too big as well, wouldn't it, surely? And surely it would be hooked up. Oh, let's forget that. Okay, so that is the red, and I think I'm going to do it blue, but I do it a really light blue. It's a nice light blue number 30, which we can use, and it would add a really splash of bright look, nice and bright. Now I don't know what colour tents come in. I think I've seen orange tents, and I've seen, I don't know. I'm just going to have a look at what I've got. I don't think pink is going to be the right colour. Maybe orange will work. Just looking and thinking. I can't imagine, because I'm no good at, I can't do that. So I'm going to go through my oranges. So I'm going to start with my number 2, which is a sort of, reddy orange. And I'm going to put that in here. This is obviously inside the tent. It's going to be dark. So I'm going to layer it quite a few times to get quite an intense colour of dark orange, and that's it. If you've used this for your rug, you might want to darken it more. You can use your brown, to add a bit more darkness. I might do that myself later. And now number 24, and I'm thinking about where are my darkest areas of tent going to be, and I'm thinking at the bottom. So I'm going to sort of put that at the bottom and then fade it up. Can you see how I am just layering it more down here and just having a very light touch? This is actually joined to that because that line is the tent peg. Well, not the peg, the whatever you call it. Yeah, I'm not into camping. I know some people really love it, and I say good for them. Number 4, and if it's relaxing for you, then do it and enjoy it. But it's just not my idea of relaxing at all. I like my bed. I like my Wi-Fi. So I'm doing the same technique with this one. This isn't my final colour, so. And I'm thinking we need to find a way of distinguishing between these two bits. So I have an idea. So I'm going to use this one, the number 42, on the side only as my last layer. So I'm just going to try and bring it all together. It will brighten it because it's more yellowy. I'm going to do quite a hard layer. Like that, but the front I'm going to use a different colour just to make it look slightly different. Oops. So you probably won't have all these oranges, number 11, if you've got the 24 set, but hopefully you'll be able to improvise slightly with the with what you've got. There we go. Hopefully that looks a little different to the side. I think so, maybe. Right, now we have a stem from this plant. I'm just going to grab the 52. I'm not going to use a different green. We've got a few white bits of grass, which I'm just going to fill in with the number 57. So I'm just going to go back here, look, there and here where it's a bit white. Around here, I don't want any, I don't mind there's some lighter areas because grass isn't going to be completely even, but I don't want white where there's nothing. That doesn't make sense. Okay, and the rabbit, I'm really tempted to leave him white. He looks very cute, but I think we're going to go for a light grey just because it will just look like I couldn't be bothered to colour it, or I just completely forgot. So I'm going to use number 80, which is our light grey. And you'll have this if you've got the 24 set. So for the ear, I'm going to go darker near the head and then lighter. Now we've got a piece here inside the ear, so we're just going to leave that for a minute. The leg, I'm going to leave the tail white up here. So sort of fade as you go up, a little bit darker at the bottom of the head. Like that. Oh, he's cute, isn't he? To control some cute. I can leave the belly white, and the inside of the ear I think would be darker. It's always tempting to make it lighter, to sort of pink or something. We have this sort of idea that the inside of an ear might be pink like skin, but often it's just dark. So, and lots of hair, so that's what I'm doing. And the tail I'm going to do in a minute. Right. Gold and silver pens first. So I'm going to use this gold Posca. I've had this quite recently. Gold Posca. It's nice. For the stars. Now with a Posca paint pen, it can draw over the black lines. So you can do that if you like. But I actually find sometimes leaving the lines there just helps it stand out a little bit more, because although when the gold catches the light it stands out, when it's not catching the light it can still look a little flat. So it can be nice to leave that black line so you can just see it, but it's completely up to you what you choose to do. So there's our gold, and I've got a silver. Now these are PC1MR, which is the size, it says it there, which are the pin type nibs, which are quite thin. Because I use Posca for details, I like a thin nib. There is a one which is like a felt tip pen, a sort of rounded nib, which some people prefer, and that nib size has got a bigger range of colours in, which is nice too. Now Rabbit, I'm going to use my Gellyroll 05 white, oops, because it's a bit thinner, because I'm going to just do the tail, and I want the tail to be a few lines like that, a bit of fluff, and it's going to be hard to see anyway. There we go, I can't really see it. And I can use this to put a little bit of shine on these berries if it wants to write. There we go. It's still a bit big, but I do like a shiny berry. You don't have to do this. If you haven't got a thin nibbed white pen, then I wouldn't recommend it. There we go. Let's have a quick look. I think that's enough detailing. I think we'll make that do. To me, I'm happy. So there is our sort of outdoor camping scene. If I tip the book, you can see the shine a little bit better on the metallics. And then you can decide whether you want to do them with metallic pen. You can, it's very hard to pick it up on the camera. You can use yellow pencil or white, leave some white, do a bright yellow Posca or other paint pen. So it's up to you really. But there we go, and you can even add more dots if you want more stars in white or something like that. So I'm going to finish there. So thank you so much for watching. I hope that was okay for you. We'll complete the very last one there tomorrow. I've got to find a set of pencils with lots of pretty vibrant colours that can deal with those small details. So I shall have a think, and I'll be back tomorrow with the last instalment. So thank you for watching, and happy colouring.